Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to another edition of MBTV News, sometimes known as Metaworld News, depending on which sign you're looking at. Even revived our old title of Metaverse Week in Review, simply because that is descriptive of what the show is. But who knows? We're going to settle on a bit more customization of our iconography and stuff like that. Anyhow, we are back. We weren't here last week. Both our shows, Sunday shows, took a week off last week. So 2 out of 3 absences basically. So we all took a bit of time off. Back this week anyway. I guess we're catching up on 2 weeks worth of news, but I've been fairly economical with what I've loaded. We don't want to look at every single web page under the sun. Got a cute little picture which has nothing whatsoever to do with the theme of this show. But this picture came from the Pentagon. It's the first image of the Chinese spy balloon. Apparently. Yes. Well, that's apparently.
That's right.
Okay, something more serious. The virtual world Sansar, which was originally um, uh, made by Linden Labs, who made Second Life, but it's now run by another company. Although Linden Labs still control the marketplace as opposed to the funding. And yeah, they're doing a lot of advertising recently, partly because they're on the LG television sets, and they've announced their Mac OS app and Android apps and stuff. So stuff everywhere really in both
Yeah,
VR
yeah.
and 2D application forms. So that's their little promo, as it were. Um, OMI Group, Open Metaverse Interop. They meet every Wednesday at 5 p.m. UK time, UTC, in Discord. And you can find links to them and everything at omnigroup.org. And yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening there. I always go to that meeting just for a roundup of all the things happening in the week. What else have we got here? Yeah, this is just a nice graphic, but actually it's come from, that's actually Jean-Michel Jarre. I think that's his silhouette facing the other way too, looking at himself and one of the constructs from his coda thing, um, which is he really seems to be full of doing virtual reality stuff these days. And yeah, advance notice March 16th to 17th. Virtuality Web 3 Summit, and that's happening over in France. I think it's in Paris, in fact. Find out more there at virtuality.fr should you want it. Right, moving on to web links of the week. My first one here is from arpost.co, so that's arpost.co, and a post about the future is now 2023 metaverse and XR predictions worth looking into. And again, you think it was still January, which of course it isn't. Oh, I should have told you it's February. You know that. You knew that already, didn't you?
Uh, I'll put it
it's
up again, right?
on the title. It's February the 12th. It's not said 15, so I don't know. Right. Anyway, displaying common messages is sort of all the look back stuff, and but if people haven't got anything else to talk about, you might as well review what happened in the previous year and where we are now, kind of the state of the art. Anyway, quite a lot of summary here on general things. So. The future is now metaverse and XR predictions. So arpost.co for that one. Move that from the list. Right, next one is Spatial Beats. This is the Charlie Fink beginning of the week one. You'll find it at arinsider.co. You'll also find one from the week before. As you can probably tell here, I'm really starting with the beginning of this week rather than any of the week before that. I know we haven't covered it, but it's old news now anyway. So arinsider.co, arinsider.co, and Spatial Beats looking at Meta, Google and Sony. And yeah, Meta finally managed to acquire Within, although I'm not sure whether it's cleared the European Union yet. that in America anyway they have approval to purchase it. So I don't know what happens if the EU says no and America says yes. Sounds like another little war to start. Right. Meta dropped the price of Quest Pro, and anyway, well, it's a general sort of roundup there. Coming up, yeah, arinsider.co for that one. Coming up, I'm going to jump down to it if I can find it, um, because I thought it was rather interesting. Yeah, here we are. Apparently, Meta's failure to actually get any decent adults into their grid. Apparently, they're going to open Horizon Worlds to younger teens amid renewed retention push. Do they think they're going to get teens? Maybe teens don't mind being legless. I don't know, but I mean, it's sort of. It was awkward enough when Second Life used to have a teen grid. They had to keep them strictly apart. Um, and you don't really, even if teens took up the idea of using Horizon Worlds, I think you'd find they'd get pretty disheartened with it the moment they realised adults were in there. They don't like mixing. Teens like to have their own places. They don't want to be invited into, you
Yeah,
know.
and I just don't get this opening it because every time I go into Horizon venues or Horizon Worlds, it's full of preteens. I mean, forget the
Yeah.
teens; it's the preteens that are in there.
Well, that's the young. Oh yeah, yeah. Preteens, younger teens, regular teens,
Yeah,
and
yep,
too old to be teens.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. What can we say really?
Hmm.
But the thought that they're making a thing of opening it to kids when it's probably already full of kids. You're right. Funny, weird. Anyway, here's the one where we can keep a bit of music or a bit of audio anyway, because it's time for the ScarGhost.com. He's back from China. He is indeed, after his 10 days around China or whatever. The XR Wheat Peak from the Scar Ghost. Samsung is back in XR. Echo VR gets shut down. Oh, yes. It was, why did Meta shut down Echo VR and then open up Horizons to kids? Who knows? Anyway, Echo VR has been shut down too. No, that hasn't gone down exactly well. And yeah. This is his news of the week. You've got to remember, this actually didn't come out to Wednesday. I think because it was delayed travelling back from China, so it's not a whole week old, but it is actually covering the previous week, so to speak. So, want to read all about it? Get the summary. Go to scarghost.com. SKARREDGHOST.com. And I'm going to jump the gun a little bit here. Down the page here, I know I've got another one. Here we are. This is also scarghost.com, so we can cue him again, can't we? This is just an article he published last minute, well, yesterday, in fact. Why you should use now, no, why you should use now generative AI in your metaverse company, or maybe not. I think there's a typo there, and I can't quite figure out what it is. But anyway, but probably now use instead of use now. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's his article about Chat GPT, and it's all the AI stuff that's going around. Um, I actually have a news feature, but I've got it here somewhere too. Just talking about ChatGPT. This is actually a news item for another program where we cover stuff on OpenSim. But here we are. Right. One of the grids on the hypergrid that runs OpenSim is osgrid.org. And the information on this basically is you can download the script that you can use in World, and it integrates the Chat GTP thing into the virtual world chat, so you can talk to your friends in Firestorm or something. And an API to chat OpenAI Chat GTP in there. I still haven't actually tried it yet. She was about shy about coming on this program, or our in-world review program actually. But I do know, well, I set her up on midweek to Thirza Ember's doing an interview with her about it. So that will be in the Hypergraph Safari blog. But moving on from that, that's just a incidental connection to the chat DDP G. I can't remember GTP or PDF. Was the last thing I knew. Right, okay, moving on. VoicesVR.com won this week, as far as I know. Metaverse See Beyond the Hype. It's a book interview with somebody called Louis Bravo Martins and Samantha G. Wolf. That's been out quite a while from Wiley. I am ready, but I've seen the cover around all over the place actually. So it's been around there. Basically, I came by just as a review of the book with them of latest Voices of VR. Right, next frontier of XR hardware. This is at arpost.co, arpost.co. And again, sort of speculating on where XR is heading. XR is it includes VR, it includes the whole bloody lot, really. Not to confuse, fused with the web only XR, as it were. Anyway, just a summary. They're looking at Magic Leap 2, Reality Pro, Quest 3, Pico 4, and HTC's offerings, and Sony, and I don't know how long this went on for. Yeah, it was a guest post as well. So, review of kind of what's available. The newest frontier, I think, rather than next frontier, on the hardware side. Let's remove those bits. Right, the death of Microsoft's metaverse. No, drama, eh? But this isn't new. I think this had already happened last time we were on air. But AltSpace VR, the social networking platform that was bought up by Microsoft a while back, they're closing it down. And it hasn't closed yet, but it will be on the 10th of March. So yeah, that's basically 4 weeks from now, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of people aren't that happy about this. I've never really liked it, but I do know a lot of educators and people actually liked meeting in there. I suspect it has something to do with the fact it was run by Microsoft. So many people use Microsoft on Windows, and they think Microsoft is the God-given gift to mankind or something. They obviously went for a Microsoft product, just like they used to go to Skype, and they now go to Teams.
Well, and that's the
But
point. I mean,
yeah,
AltSpace didn't work with Teams, just flat out. And so the new
yeah,
Microsoft Mesh is going to be what will work with Teams in their suite. So
yeah,
it's just what they had to do.
yeah, um, yeah. But it would be different. And anyway, I mean, there's various blogs up at the moment about methods by which you can get stuff out of AltSpace VR, but they all sound rather cantankerous. You really have to take them, export them, take them into a program called Unity, and then re-export them and find places to put them. And yeah, they haven't made the exit strategy particularly easy for people. Anyway, this article is at themetabyte.com, themetabite.com, and yeah, this particular article just focuses on that in particular. Moving on to this week in XR, this is Charlie Fink again. This is the end of the week version of Charlie at Forbes. It's also reprinted in a couple of other places for the benefit of people who can't get through Forbes' firewall. Anyway, yeah, I've got it at Forbes.com. There are other ways of reading it. Again, it's just a roundup, real aware of been buying things, getting financing for the Lightfield Lab, Engage XR, and the Looking Glass, various stuff. That looks quite like decent kits. I mean, presumably if you have to wear a hard helmet anyway, then you've got all these little attachments to go with it. But yeah, I don't like headgear. Full stop. Oh yeah, Lightfield Labs. That sounds interesting too. So yeah, a lot of background stuff here. Quite a useful roundup this week of stuff that isn't always available elsewhere. Squid Game, the big new thing. Yeah, Anyway, so you find that at Forbes.com, Forbes.com. And oh, we did that one just now, didn't we? Right. Oh, right. This is interesting. Quite an interesting interview. This is a site called Martech. MartechSeries.com. So it's Martech series, in fact. It's an interview with somebody called John Payne, who's the CEO of Croquet. Croquet is very interesting. It contributes a lot to the open source community for one thing. It's more sort of WebXR type thing, but they've also launched very recently a plugin for WordPress, which allows you to deploy metaverse web pages, 3D immersive user and multi-user things in any WordPress site you've got, or blog. It says, though, from what I can tell, it's a plugin for self-hosted WordPress sites rather than WordPress.com, the public blog that where WordPress itself hosts you. I might be wrong because it does say on the website or blog, but I've got a feeling it's the offline self-hosted one that you download the plugin for. Anyway, a nice talk about the microverse world builder, which sort of goes with it. Yeah, so just an interview tells you all about it, but also gets into the head a bit of John Payne, I guess. You could put it that way. So martechseries.com for that one. I would remind you that all these links I'm talking about, you can actually find on my Twitter feed, which is twitter.com slash Malburns, Malburns, all one word. No, thoroughly squashed, as they do. And yeah, that's actually really the only one you need now. My Mastodon feeds also, and some I post to Mastodon, either the Malburns or the Metaworld Mastodon feeds, but they both get relayed into the Twitter feed at the moment. So until Elon Musk does something else dirty, you don't really need to worry about that. Right, okay, roadtovr.com is the next site I'm off to, roadtovr.com. And, oh, sorry, we've been here already, didn't we? I jumped here earlier. This is what happens when I go out of order. Yeah, Meta opening Horizon Worlds to younger teens. Roadtovr.com is where you'll find that article. And we also have done this one already, didn't we? Yeah, the additional Scarred Ghost piece. Right. Okay. VentureBeat.com. This is a very new one. The art of the possible with Web3 interoperability. Now, Web3, a bit like WebXR. I mean, Web3 includes quite a lot more than WebXR, but it's basically the idea we'll get vast worlds and spaces and things on the web. Basically the worlds will be built on the web. But this is actually discussing interoperability, which is something we're all very keen about. And I rather suspect that interoperability between virtual spaces will probably come first to virtual worlds on the web, because they already have a common underlying system, which is HTML. It's the web protocols basically. So they're building a layer on the web, and if they need to connect to each other, they can presumably dig deep down into the web and finding ways of connecting. I have actually seen examples where people have don't know, I forget which worlds it was, but you could take something like hubs, for example, and then then another world might be on the web built with Frame. And normally you would just open a new tab for the next world you want to go to. But imagine for a second that you could actually, in the world on the web, you could teleport to another world that is on the web, and it would do so within the same tab. In other words, you wouldn't need to open a new tab to do the teleport, because it would be a true teleport. And I have actually seen that done. I know Frame was one of the, I don't think it was Hubs, I know Frame.io was one of the platforms they used. So if it's a matter of having an open system, being jumping from world to world, you can either go through a client thing like OpenSims client, or one of their clients like Firestorm, or it could rely on web standards to do the job. So I think interoperability may come first on the web, um, the web worlds, I should say, rather than standalone ones. But there you go. You never know what tomorrow will bring. So you'll find that article, by the way, at venturebeat.com, venturebeat.com. So dispose of that one. And okay, this is the last one, really. This nwn.blogs.com, so nwn.blogs.com. The NWN stands for New World Notes, and this is a very old blog run by Hamlet Orr, New World
Wow.
Notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around for a long while. But this is a report. Um, I did mention earlier the Chat GPT thing that was going on. Oh no, that was sorry. This one is Crystal Frost, so I don't think they're related. Um, okay, go back up here again. There we are. We have seen. I did see a preview of this before. In fact, I actually tried to get the person who does this to actually come on the panel at the Open Sim Community Conference. But is Callisti is how I know her, and that's how she is on Discord. Berry Bunny in SL, with SL being Second Life. Um, the thing is, the Firestorm viewer is often used by people going into OpenSim as well as Second Life. And in theory, it could be presumably modified if they ever got round to it to handle other worlds, a limited number of them too. But what Callisti has done is she's rebuilt a kind of Firestorm client, but she's used Unity as the authoring software to build the viewer. So what you see in the viewer is still what we've always seen, but because the client that you view with is built in Unity, it has much more power and exoticness, I guess is the word, than any of the Second Life and Firestorm type viewers. Um, it also means the way it's been authored actually with Unity is that it should be able to work on mobile, allowing you to see OpenSim or Second Life on the smartphone, etc., etc. This was one good picture. The top picture there is a scene as seen in Firestorm at the moment, and the bottom picture is the same scene. Obviously, on video, you're not seeing this wonderfully, but you can probably see the graphic quality difference. The one at the bottom is in the new Crystal Frost viewer. It's an early alpha, and as I say, built in Unity, but you see it's rendering the same scene, but in much more detail. I mean, or a different sense of realism, really. I think actually. There's a few things that you not quite know. For example, it strikes me that Firestorm is showing a bit more detail inside that garage or whatever it is, whereas the Unity viewer shows less. But on the other hand, the signage looks pretty cruddy, whereas it's much clearer in the other one. So this isn't just another viewer. It's taking the same worlds, i.e. Second Life, OpenSim, and etc., and providing a whole new style of viewer for them. And possibly there'll be more customization in knowing the way Unity behaves. I mean, in Sciencebase, for example, their viewer is built in Unity, and they can put a subset of Unity tools into the viewer for people to work with, largely with Mesh as opposed to Prims. But anyway, all exciting kind of stuff. So that's the last item there. I'll be going back to that. I'll leave that out for a show later. We went to our pictures, didn't we? So, I know what we haven't done yet. I'll get it out of the way here. Okay, the good old Mastodon feed. Where has it opened? Oh, it's opened at the top. Okay, well, I'm going to scroll down to the last our last news program is there on the 29th of January. Okay, all these get relayed into Twitter anyway, so but you can go to Mastodon Social / Metaworld. Um, but just an idea of what's there. There's a talk by Herman Nuala, who's from Improbable. They work on a lot of background tech for virtual worlds. They're most famous for having licensed their system to Hello Games, who, well, they've done good games. They even had one called Metaworld, but paid it out, didn't we? Well, nothing to do with me, it's gone. Yeah, the backbone from Improbable is good. But also, Herman himself is a great speaker and talker about the future of the metaverse. And, he talks in a general sense rather than promoting his own product. So that's nice to hear. Metaverse Insider had an interview with somebody called Duncan Roberts. Now, remember, this is 2 weeks ago, and I can't quite remember what it all was, but it was worth me listening to, I remember. And a program on Avatar Interop with VRM. I forget who they were. Anyway, that was looking at interoperability for the metaverse. All these are YouTube links, so you can either play them here like that.
Hi, my name is Jesse Alton. My friends call me Mr. Metaverse, and
okay, more on that in a minute, actually. Okay, Lightship AR Developer Kit. Oh, this is a Voices of VR, which would have obviously got to my Twitter feed in the end anyway. But this one, for some reason, I published. Mastodon. Okay, Voices of VR 1170 about Niantic's Lightship AR Developer Kit. Yeah, again, you can play it from here or go to Voices of VR, or which you'll find on any podcast thing, or indeed at Twitter or Mastodon here. All Night in New York City. I was talking about augmented reality in music. Again, that is a video. The embed doesn't show up for some reason, but I can assure you the stream works. And Ethics and XR. This was Immerse UK, the UK organisation. They had a program on ethics and XR. And it's on Vimeo, this one, in fact, but you can watch it here or click through. Quite sort of formal stuff there. Between Realities, let me see, 4th of February. Oh, yeah, we're getting up to date. This is, Quinn Tabor. I can't remember this one, to be honest, but it is there. Oh, he's from Immerse, I think. Yeah, that was right. And this week in XR, the podcast version or the video version, whatever you want to call it. This had Avi Barzeev in it. He's a pioneer architect and advisor and blah blah, everything really. So he was guesting with them. Right, Between Realities Extra. This one this week now, 4th of February. Well, almost, this week. Monkey See, Monkey Doo Doo, as opposed to Monkey Poo Poo. Sorry. That was an extra. They obviously thought it was of interest to have an extra program with them. Right, XR. Oh, I'm glad you found that amusing, folks. Or my wonderful phantom audience. Yes, XR Today hosted a panel on with top commentators of the immersive industry. Again, that one's at YouTube. Another interesting program. And All Night in Los Angeles had one that it's earlier in the week, but it's just the replay is now up on YouTube. And our friend Ivo Haining is there too, as is Neil Trevette from Kronos. And actually, they were all great. And Susan, whatever her name is, was their moderator. I don't know who she was, but she was a very good moderator, I should say. Also, IE, XR interoperability and stuff. This was the Computer Society people, engineering people. Looking at XR interoperability, accessibility, metaverse predictions. Plenty there. One of our favourite shows, the VR Download. Did you see this one, James?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah. They had a good... Well, I like the fact that Kyle's back. and he's he was on the original show for a long time, and their technical fellow David Heaving is off on a special project. So I'm curious what that is. But
Oh,
they spent a lot of time talking about the Echo VR
yeah.
cancellation, and the owner there, or the one of the hosts, Kyle, he has younger children, and his children are just devastated that Echo VR is being canceled. So it's
Ah.
they want to get they want to talk to Andrew Bosworth of Meta. They want to talk to anybody. It's like, why are you canceling this? This
What you do it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they even related, the fact that there are people who are now doing esports in Echo VR, and they've
Yeah.
got sponsored leagues that are, using the software. So it was quite the hot topic. Yep.
This is like television news here, sort of government policy or something. They always say, "We did ask somebody from the Department of Defense to come along, but nobody was available."
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been about 3 years since the government actually made anybody available to speak to answer questions on
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
They get their knickers in a twist all the while, anyway.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is just. I don't think Zuckerberg knows what he's doing. The fact he's
Yeah.
throwing money into VR long term is probably
Yeah.
a good way of wasting money that other people in the future may benefit from.
Yeah, I
But
did. I did talk to them though. I mean, I chatted about Star Wars Galaxies,
uh,
GeoCities. Platforms
oh yeah,
change, and people get
oh yeah,
left in a bind. So it's unfortunate. But then I said, you could use the Apache server version of Virtual Worlds, and that's your open simulator.
yeah. And I look at things like Second Life and Open Sim, where we've talked on our Open Sim show about this a fair bit. And a lot of the success of those platforms is when instead of people just coming to a new place, they bring their tribe along.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly that was the case with
With
GeoCities.
GeoCities for sure.
The
Right.
tribes moved on elsewhere, and oh god, the old Apple funded one for talk.
Oh, right. What was that?
I can't
Yeah.
remember that. My late partner was a cop, as it were, for an
Mm.
online cop for talk something it was. Anyway, but it was the same way that, because I remember she relayed this to me, that sort of as that broke up, or lots of sections of it formed into tribes and then moved into places like Second Life,
Right.
and of course it wasn't just moving to a new platform; it's moving to a highly advanced platform
Mm-hmm.
compared with talk. Where I never can't remember what it was. A talk sort of chat room, and then to jump from there into something like Second Life. It's,
Yep. Yep. And it
or
happens on OS Grid too. Grids go up, grids go down,
yes, yes, exactly.
and
Yeah,
tribes move. Yep.
yeah. The exodus of the tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely exodus, because where they're going from won't be there anymore. Okay, this is now Charlie Fink and EYC. I forget they were. It's a special program on YouTube. It's not one of his normal things. We can review things. He's actually talking about storytelling and AI, and it's actually quite interesting. Speculating on what AI can do now and what it's likely to be able to do. There's another. This is another between reality. You may notice the picture seems the same as the earlier one, but it is actually a different one. I think they goofed on their thumbnail. This is actually Igor Hardy of Played with Fire in that podcast, and All Night LA. Oh, actually that's a repeat. I shouldn't have posted that way. And then finally this week's XR podcast from Charlie Fink is the Lightfield Lab people are on that. And finally, of course, this one came in just last night, I guess. F Reality's podcast. Their main focus is the fact that the PlayStation VR2 fever is now here. So that's their thing. They're more focused on games, but gamers like this technology as much as virtual world enthusiasts do. Great deal of overlap. I see that Sony have not made any great deal of improvements in terms of that. Is still definitely a helmet, just
Oh,
like
but what a helmet! It's a good helmet. Yep.
yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. They've everybody seems to want to improve on the helmet idea, and sort of rather than move to the lightweight format of glasses or sort of goggles maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway, so yeah, that's another piece of whatever up there for you to look at. Now, before we go, let's see. I've got about 10 minutes to just rush into a couple of things. We did our pictures, didn't we? Got a few news clips. Just 10 to little things here. This, I'm not going to play all 11 minutes, but this is Jesse from OMI, and well, he's all over the place, to be honest. And he started his little podcast here.
My name is Jesse Alton. My friends call me Mr. Metaverse, and this is the Metaverse Interrupt Show. For today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's becoming increasingly important for VR, AR, and the Metaverse as a whole. Before we dive in, let's start with the basics. What is VR? It's the Metaverse Interrupt Show.
Great theme song he's got.
VRM, or a virtual reality model, is a file format for 2D humanoid characters, also known as avatars, that allow for interoperability across different metaverse platforms, various games, and experiences. In other words, VRM allows avatars to be used in different virtual worlds and environments without needing to be re-rigged and reanimated.
Now, I think that was the same as the one that I actually read out a minute ago that was on my Mastodon feed. If it's not, I should put it on because it's 11 minutes and far too long to show here. But yeah, Jesse there, or Mr. Metaverse, he tends to host, I don't know where, OMI, which I attend weekly. He's always hosting the meetings there. It's not like he's the boss or anything. It's just like an open collective. But he tends to be the one who manages to put everything together and sort of in a nice compact way. So it's great to see him doing his own sort of podcasting every couple of weeks. It's just in front of camera and doing this, but each one, I think it's up to number 3 now, and if this is the third one, or second, I'm not sure, but they get better and better. He's getting to grips with the technology of broadcasting, basically. Think Reality, this is, of course, is Lenovo, isn't it? I've got one of them monitors sitting right beside me here. It's a touchscreen, so they're ahead of the game with that.
The internet is changing. We're quickly moving from flat experiences confined to our monitors to a spatial and interactive digital representation of our physical world, the metaverse. A new way of thinking that promises to change the way we work, entertain, and connect. With Lenovo's Think Reality A3 smart glasses, we're working to bring head-worn AR to enterprise and consumer customers alike, and be your on-ramp to the metaverse. And by partnering with Qualcomm, we're making it just as easy to develop for as it is to wear.
With Snapdragon Spaces, we've designed a suite of open architecture tools that are device and platform agnostic, supporting a wide array of hardware, such as the Think Reality A3 glasses, as well as content creation platforms such as Unity and Unreal Engine. Snapdragon Spaces is designed to make development as painless and transparent as possible, so you can focus on making content that matters.
The Think Reality A3 offers dual 1080p displays, dual fisheye cameras for room-scale 6-DoF tracking, an 8-megapixel RGB camera, and, when tethered to your Moto smartphone, a lightweight and mobile experience.
And by leveraging the latest hardware from Lenovo, you can connect with all the powerful tools that Snapdragon Spaces provides. Image recognition, plane detection, hand tracking, persistent anchors, and more. Use these features to develop new experiences from the ground up, or port your XR apps over easily using open standards. We also know that you want to hear from people that actually use it. So we've been having some fantastic discussions with some of the developers in our early access and Pathfinder programs.
They've already been using the Think Reality A3 smart glasses and Snapdragon Spaces SDK to deliver high-end experiences across a variety of industries. And we can't wait to share those stories with you. So head over to the Qualcomm website, spaces.qualcomm.com, to learn more about the exciting partnership and purchase a developer kit.
Dun, dun, dun. Right, and what's this one? Oh yes, this is just nice. Nice metaphor there, as it were. Though, of course, if it was, it's called No Go UFO, that clip, for something like departure, the idea of teleporting off, whatever. Of course, if it was a real UFO, Biden would have shot it down by now. So that's... yeah. Oh, somebody finds it funny. Right, what else have I got here to get through to? Okay, 27 past. No, I'm not going to do that one. This is 2 minutes 19. This is about spatial.
I have a lot of dreams of where I want to take the spatial canvas in the long run. But I want to start off by just cataloging the history and culture of VR art. If someone wants to learn about all the different artists and projects that happened up until now, it's really hard to find. They have to do a lot of deep searching in Google. It's not really cataloged in one place. So what I want to do is start interviewing VR artists and developers who are making the creation tools. I want to show the scale of that community. Like, if you have a project that you just worked on and a lot of it was done using VR creation tools, it'd be really cool to have you on so we can talk about it. I want to find someone who has like 50 followers but makes cool art. Bring them on and interview them and talk to them about their dreams and like where they see VR art going. So for these first few months, I'm focusing on two things: interviews and tutorials. This week I actually have 4 interviews already set up, and one of them I think is going to kind of act like a tutorial where we talk to someone about this really large-scale gravity sketch project that they just finished and released. I also have a couple of interviews lined up with the people who used to work on Tilt Brush, because I want to make a documentary about the history of it. I feel like knowing the history of your medium makes it a lot easier to claim ownership of it. So if any of this makes you excited, I have finally started a Patreon and I could really use your support. Over there, I'm giving away free VR worlds every month, there's extra educational resources, and there's a tier where you can actually set up one-on-one time for us to talk about your project and work through some of the issues that you're having. Through that, if you wanted to, if your project was in Gravity Sketch or something, we could actually meet up in VR and work on the project there together. If you're just looking for new worlds to explore, I'm starting to sell all my OpenBrush and Gravity Sketch worlds on Gumroad as big bundles and smaller packs. So keep an eye out there because I want to be releasing new ones there often. And then finally, I'm working on some merch. So I have this fun idea for making a shirt that has the periodic table on it, but instead of elements, it's like every brushstroke that you can find in OpenBrush. So I still have to design that one, but I want to have that on my store by Friday. Anyways, I'm Emma. This has been Spatial Canvas, and I hope to see you next time.
Well, I think that sounds like a great program to be following. If whatever comes out as public, as opposed to be on some of those some of the firewall sites, then I will be sure I'll be adding that, the episodes of that, as it were, to the Mastodon feed, which will end up in Twitter anyway. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Right, World Economic Forum, of course, had they're meant to be looking at the whole load of things, but they've really got to be in their bonnet about the metaverse. I'm not going to run that clip. It's nearly 5 minutes and too long. I'm not going to run this clip either, but I'm going to give you, I mean, this is a band called Limp Bizkit, and this is their new video for a song called Out of Style. I'm going to play just enough of it for you to maybe click what the heck they've done here. They've done an amazing job, but forget the music. Play it silently if you really want.
We cannot change the past, but we can start today to make a better tomorrow.
Not with him, we Okay, that's all you're getting. I'm sure if somebody's somebody's taste in music, but there you go.
Yeah,
Right,
and
that's it.
YouTube may not like that either, so that's one to watch for.
Well, yes, I'm not going to play that off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, true, true. Good point, good point. But if they do block it, it's the end of the show anyway. So
Right, right.
you just get 2 minutes of silence at the end. Okay, so that's it for now. James, any other thoughts on everything we covered or anything like that?
No, no, not at all. Good show.
No, yeah, good show. Always is. We says because we are. Oh God, I
Oh
forgot.
man, wow.
When
That's
it
old.
comes to VR, blah blah, we are. That one, that one. Right. Okay. Well, keep safe, everybody. Look after yourselves. Avoid all the bugs going round, not to mention the old bugs as well. And spring is in the air sometimes, but that's in the northern hemisphere. Down south, you're getting colder and colder. Who knows what will happen down there? But if in doubt, log on and enter virtual reality or mixed reality or do something. It's amazing what you can do just sitting down indoors these days. But do remember to eat, and do remember to exercise, and do remember to take fluids is what the message is, isn't it? Okay, we will see you same time, same place next week with MBTV News. And for now, it's a wrap.